Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. This video is made possible by the very kind donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you are in a position to help this channel improve quality and grow, please visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below.
It is the 31st century, and mankind is once again at war. The battlefields of the future are dominated by huge robotic war machines known as battlemechs.
Hello. With the overwhelming success of the BattleTech Mercenaries Kickstarter, and all the new minis that have been announced, I thought it would be fun to look over the minis I have with me here to film. Like a number of people, I keep my minis in these cheap but effective tackle trays. As I've mentioned several times on my channel, I have several more trays along with what box sets and books I have left still in storage. The good news is some I now know exactly where they are, safe and sound in a closet. Sadly, others are still MIA. While we wait on all the goodies from Catalyst's latest Kickstarter, please join me as I give you a little tour of my BattleTech toys and my unscripted thoughts on them. Hey guys, just wanted to do the next box video. Got the next one here. This is the last of the mediums and the first of the heavies. So let's go ahead and open this up and let's take a look. Alright, first up I have a couple of Shadowhawks. Now, this one is an unseen Shadowhawk. Old Raupartha, with the bottom being so clean like that, except for this little bit here. I'm pretty sure this one's a legit one from back in the day. I think I picked this up at a flea market, and it was one of the ones that I got from a flea market that was actually real. It is missing its missile launcher. I do have a gun for it. This has been jerry-rigged. Pin goes there, and it came out a while back, and I just haven't gotten around to fixing it yet, so this will be going back into the my repair box at some point so I can glue that back on. Along with it, we have the Catalyst redesign. Very nice. Keeps the feel of the original. Nice and blocky and hefty looking. I do like how they move the LRM5 down into the torso instead of being a shoulder mounted. Having two shoulder mounted guns were just kind of awkward, and the pieces can come off too easily. Don't have that problem too much with these plastic ones. There is a little bit of a size difference, but they can very easily go together. Camera will cooperate. I can't really say which one I like better. I do love the old unseen one, mostly for nostalgic reasons. But the re-seen one, the new design, is very, very good. I really like it. Now, the Shadowhawk is kind of an odd one. It doesn't have a lot of knockout punch for its size. That AC5, LRM5, SRM2, and medium laser really lacks hitting power. But it is good against almost anything. So, kind of a strange beast. I do still like it, and I do field these whenever I get the chance. Next, I have a pair of dervishes. an okay mech. As a Davian player, I'm kind of forced to play these on a regular basis, even though they are definitely not one of my favorites, but still not bad as a fire support mech. It can kind of protect itself. One of these is from the old Catalyst box set. This one is the improved quality one. Textured top, number on the bottom. Won't do that every time, but this one was one that didn't see a large increase in quality. They were both, the old one was pretty high quality. It didn't have a lot of flash on it or a lot of low details that didn't come through. The new one does have a little bit better detail on it, but it doesn't add a whole lot of detail, and the detail that it has is a little bit clearer, but not a whole lot clearer. So I don't know, they did a much better job on the original Catalyst Dervish than they didn't. The step up in quality is nice, but they definitely did a much better job with this one than some of the other of the old ones. As I was saying, I do play the Dervish from time to time. It's an okay fire support mech. The two LRM-10s just don't quite have the punch for a mech this size, but its ability to kind of protect itself and still be mobile, it's a pretty good mech. I do like it. I just tend to step up to a heavier LRM carrier if I'm going to go that route, or a more melee close-in fighter if I'm going to go that route. So kind of falls into that pretty good, not bad, decent category. Next, I have a Wolverine. Unseen Wolverine. This is another one that I picked up, I think, at a yard sale or flea market. I'm not sure if this is legit or not. The bottom is pretty clean with good stamp on there, but still kind of, I don't know, it's been filed or something quite a bit, so I don't know. It is nice if it is if it's a knockoff. It has pretty good detail. I can't say I played the Wolverine all that much, so this didn't get a whole lot of use out of me. I do have two more, which are the Catalyst redesign. It does have something of a size difference. I do like the redesign. They really kept the feel of the original with that autocannon and SRM launcher. Lots of good detail on this. You can really notice the size difference. The old Wolverine is quite a bit shorter and not as beefy, but you still get the idea. I still think I kind of like the original better, mostly just out of nostalgia. It's a beautiful design, and the new design still really good. So I tend to use this one because without a hex space, this falls over too easily. I can't say much for the mech. The Wolverine is definitely not one of my favorite mechs. Just too much ammo, too little damage, too much that can go wrong. Now, I do like the large laser version much better. Just that extra 3 damage and not having that ammo sitting there to cook off on you. You do lose a little bit of range, but more than worth it in my opinion. You still got that SRM6 up there to pound up close. So yeah, I'll play the large laser version much more than I will the AC5 version. Next up, I have a trio of dragons. These guys are often used as some of the bad guys for me. playing against the Draconis Combine. One of them I have is the original dragon from the old Catalyst set, and then the other two examples are the step up in quality ones from the later Catalyst box set. This is one where the detail was not bad at all. Not a lot of flash, not a lot of blurry detail. The upgrade in detail is cleared up the detail a little bit more. It's a little sharper, but not a huge step up. Now, on the old one has an advantage actually over the new one. It is pegged on there. This is glued on. The top is glued on with a simple peg. I'm not gonna try to break the glue and get it off, but the new one is straight up cast together. Whereas this one, if you finagle it some and wiggle it, you can pop the top off the torso, so you'd be able to reposition it. I've seen a guy pull it off and file it down some and use magnetic paint and a magnet so that he could actually torso twist and it would stay that way. That was really cool. I like that. Like I said, I'm kind of afraid of breaking mine. It's on there pretty snug, but it is an option if you want to kind of work it loose. As far as the dragon, the AC5 version is okay. It doesn't quite have the firepower for its size. The PPC version is one that I like a lot more, the Grand Dragon. And, like I said, I often throw these down and play against them. Or if I am playing Kurita, this is almost a must. The dragon is just their mech. Its speed will get you out of a lot of trouble and let you move in on people. And I have played against people that, sneered at this thing. It's too fast for its size and it can't hurt you, was their thought. And, using it well and getting in there and getting those kicks in and staying at, kind of longer range with the PPC or AC5 and that LRM10, just kind of raining the pain down on his shorter range, slower mechs. It proved its worth, and I've enjoyed using it. Can't say it's my favorite mech of its weight class, but it is certainly nice. It is a good mech, especially the PPC version. Next up, I have an Osrock. This is I love the egg mechs. They just scream old school, and the light's not going to cooperate with me. Let's darken this up some. See if it works any better. A little too much light here, but hopefully you're seeing, there we go, some of the detail. This is some kind of resin. This is another one I bought at probably at the flea market. Definitely not a legit copy, but still real good detail on it. A few little flaws here and there. It's the only Osrock I've got, so I had another one like this at one time, but it broke, and I'm not sure whatever happened to it. So, yeah, it's a beautiful mech. I just the funniness of the egg mechs just always brings a smile to my face. I love throwing this thing down. It's probably my favorite of them, of the egg mechs. Good weapons mix, decent heat. You kind of got to be careful with the large lasers. I guess on paper the Ostel is better, but still, this thing just looks cool. It's got a good weapons mix. I enjoy throwing it down, and one of these days I really want to build, the Death Egg Lance, an Ostel, an Osrock, a Flashman, and Oscout or something like that. But yeah, I just decent mech, really like it. And one of these days I'll have to get me some more of them. Next up, I have some quick draws. 3 of them here. Again, 2 of them are the new version, the upgraded quality Catalyst ones, and this one is the early Catalyst one from the early Catalyst box sets. This one was another one where the quality for the details were pretty good. There were some line issues, some just random flash that was on it, but all in all, it was pretty good and it did its job well. The step up in quality is noticeable. You don't have these leftovers from venting on the upper leg on the new one, so they did a better job there. More detail, less defects. This definitely was a good step up in quality. Very good mech. Actually, I think it's kind of underrated. I don't see people throw these down very much, and I didn't actually used to play them all that much either. They were just kind of an okay mech. Actually, the BattleTech computer game, I got one in one of my first playthroughs of that, and was kind of forced to use it, and was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is better than I thought it was. So, putting it down on the board, I actually started to like the thing. I do like in the lore that it has the ability to flip arms, even though it has lower arm and hand actuators, which is kind of a neat deal. Don't really allow its use on the tabletop. I think you have to play with quirks for that, and that's not, I don't go that far into the rules. But still, a cool mech, cool kind of idea. And yeah, just a mech that really grew on me because of the BattleTech computer game. Sorry for the jump cut, guys, but I really wanted you to see all of this together. I have 9 catapults. I have 4 from the Plastech set. I actually managed to pick those up several years ago. Somebody was selling them for $2 a piece, so I really lucked out and stocked up there. I have the one from the new Catalyst redesign, and then 4 from the older Catalyst ones, one of which is from the original Catalyst set. We're not going to look at each of these individually, but I will pull up examples so that we can kind of compare them. All right, first up is the Plastech catapult. Pretty beefy and blocky. This is actually one that's been painted. Its detail is just coming across on the camera better. This is what it originally looked like out of the packaging. Much lighter gray. But I'm going to go ahead and continue to use this one since it's coming through on the camera better. Pretty good detail on this thing. Real, on parts. Some other parts, the detail is very, very basic. But for, FASTA, having this out in the 80s, gotta give it a little leeway. It's one of the first plastic mechs. Really, really nice, all things considered. And it actually is a very good scale match for the new catapult. Very close in scale. So Yeah, very, very impressive for its time. Here we have examples of the first catalyst attempt at the catapult. This is the original catalyst catapult, and then this is the improved quality one. This is one where the improved quality very much did kick in. The old one has some low detail on it. The missile launchers, if you get close enough to it, you can see some of the little holes that are apparently supposed to be there, but they are so light and they're not all there. Something was wrong with whatever they made this with. It has quite a bit of flash on it. Details are acceptable, but kind of blurry and covered up in some cases with flash, and there's just no real good way of fixing this thing. The reissue with the higher detail is quite the step up. Camera will cooperate with me. Yeah, it's quite the step up. This was almost jaw-dropping to see the difference in the two. You can actually see all of the individual missile tubes in the arms, and I do like this version of the catapult. A lot of people didn't. They said it looked too dinky, but I mean, it makes this thing look really, that pointed nose, it makes it look really fast, and I did like this version. The problem is now, with the new redesign of it, it is horribly out of scale. This thing looks like it's 20 tons lighter. This thing looks like it should be like a 45-ton mech, maybe a 50-ton mech when you compare it to the new design. And if the camera will, there we go. When you compare it to the new design, not quite sure how you would square that. Maybe this is the SLDF design with, better technology, and this is the, Secession Wars were not as refined, and this is the cruder version. I don't know. I just kind of throw them both down on the field in their catapults and just figure out the difference. I have seen people create their own mech, which is a lighter version of this. Back in the day when this was the official mini for it with Catalyst, and I had these Plastech catapults, which, as you can see, have the same problem. This thing looks like it's, if this is a 65-tonner, this looks like it's an assault mech. So, me and some friends made some like assault version catapults that we played around with. So there were two different versions. But yeah, all in all, the catapult is probably my go-to missile boat. It's fast enough that it can keep up with the heavies. It's maneuverable with its jump jets. Those two LRM-15s, aren't as powerful as LRM-20s, but still powerful enough that you're going to feel them, especially if you keep hitting with them. And with its 4 medium lasers, it can be a threat even at close range. So if a light mech runs up on this thing, the ability to shoot at something 4 times and possibly hit it is very valuable. And it's easy to keep this thing cool. You either fire your lasers or your missiles. You don't tend to fire both. So all in all, just a wonderful mech, one that I play a lot. I absolutely love the catapult. There's a reason that, the Mad Cat is based on this thing. Just love it. Even the PPC version is okay. It's funny that they slapped 2 PPCs on this thing. But like I said, the original is hard to beat. The only thing that I don't like is once they bumped it up to 3050. The tech manual had this thing with Arrow 4s in it for artillery, and if you weren't playing with those rules, there really wasn't an official canon, upgrade to the classic. Just, throwing in Artemis and some, double heat sinks or something would have been awesome for that to be a basic upgrade to the original. So, but anyway, love the mech. I wouldn't have 9 of them if I didn't. All right, next up, I have a trio of Crusaders. Crusaders, the real challenger to the catapult. Very similar, armed with its LRMs. These are all from the 3rd edition FASA box set. 2 have been painted, not by me. The 3rd one is as it appeared out of the box. Again, not the greatest detail or quality on it, but for, an old FASA set, it's pretty good. You kind of gotta forgive it since it was, an early plastic. Very, very nice. Gotta love that old design. Here's some painted examples. Got one kind of, I guess, a desert kind of camo. The camera will cooperate. There we go. Got it in desert camo. I bought this one back in the day like this. I want to say I got this at a store somewhere, secondhand. I don't remember. And then this one was painted, but you can tell that a lot of the paint has worn off over the years. I want to say it was more painted when I first got it, and whoever did it in kind of cheap paint, which is just worn off after years and years of touching this thing. If this was looked a little better, the black and red that somebody was painting it in, this probably would have been my favorite. But I gotta say, this one is probably the one that looks the best. Crusaders, I don't use them too terribly much. I just greatly prefer the catapult. They're fun to throw down, especially with their dual SRMs. That can really convince somebody to back the hell off. But with so much ammo in this thing, it just seems like whenever I put one down, the thing just explodes. Like, as soon as it takes a hit, it's going to blow up somehow. It also, because of its, Robotech Macross origins, it looks like it has jump jets on the back, but, the mech doesn't have jump jets. So, whatever, it's fine. I still like the design. I still like pretty much all of the Macross designs. They did really well. It's just one that I don't play as much. I do try to occasionally go out of my way to throw one of these down instead of just playing catapults all the time. Next, I have a Lance of Jagger mechs. Now, these 3 I can tell you are not official. These are some kind of cast resin or something, clearly based off the original. I want to say I got these down at the flea market, or maybe online or something like that. Picked them up pretty cheap, if I remember correctly, and then just needed mechs to throw on the board. Won't take too much of a look at them. They all have defects and little things wrong with them. But still, to be able to throw some mechs on the board, whatever. I don't have the improved quality version of the Jagger mech. This is the original Catalyst release. It was okay. Not a lot of mold lines on it. Details pretty good, all things considered. Few little things here and there, like the obvious vent where the vent holes were, having detail lost on the arms and here on the torsos. So I have seen the better version of this thing, and it was much nicer. And I probably have one somewhere. I just don't have it with me to film with. So hopefully I'll go through the mechs that are now in a closet, and it'll be in there. The Jagger mech. This is a mech that a lot of people kind of rag on because it just doesn't have a lot of firepower for its size. I disagree. I like this thing, especially in its intended role. Anti-air, I say this thing is as good, if not better, than the Rifleman. Those two AC2s really give you the ability to reach out and hit something. The AC5s also are pretty good at reaching out and dealing some damage. And players, I've noticed, just tend to ignore this thing. They're like, oh, ooh, I'm going to take 2 or 3 damage, 5 or 7 damage around, who cares? Well, that stuff adds up. And, 4 heat, 5, 6 if you run, you can fire this thing all day. So if you tend to ignore it, you get some, a location or 2 opened up and this thing just starts critting you, it can be a real problem. Forcing some aircraft to make some rolls because you're smacking it good. You can make a plane crash sometimes that way. And, you got a couple medium lasers in there to protect you if somebody runs up on you. All in all, a much better mech than I think a lot of people give it credit for. Speaking of the Rifleman, here we have the Catalyst redesign of the Rifleman. It's okay. I still greatly prefer the Unseen Rifleman. Something about that just spoke to me. This isn't bad at all. I actually do not like the redesign, the original redesign that was done with the weird rotary autocannons. This is a much better version of the Rifleman. I like it. I just don't like it as much as the original. I do have at least 1, maybe 2 of the Unseens for the Rifleman. I just don't have them here. As far as using the Rifleman, this is one of the mechs that was in the Mech Warrior 1 game. So any mech from that game I just love. It was my introduction to Battletech. I don't like this mech very much. I guess for its job of, alpha striking a plane or a helicopter as it flies by and then having a round or 2 to cool down, it does an okay job. I do find one of the things I do a lot to it is downgrade the AC5s to AC2s and cram some more heat sinks in there to help with the large lasers. The PPC version of this thing is just way too much heat. It's not useless, but the PPC version I rarely have ever fielded. This thing, like I said, is okay. I would actually most of the time much rather have a Jagger mech, and that kind of speaks for how much I've grown to like the Jagger mech, because I used to just play with this a lot. I still throw it down. I still like to play it, mostly just for the nostalgia it brings of I played this thing for a long time, mostly because it was my introduction to Battletech. Up next, I have a Thunderbolt. Very nice. I really like what Catalyst did in the redesign. It really keeps this thing looking legit. Big, beefy, heavy mech that just stomps up on you and can just, no matter what range it's at, it seems like it's going to hurt you. I've had people successfully argue with me that this thing is better than the Marauder. A mech, 10 tons heavier. I can see where they're coming from. I think I still like the Marauder better.
But this thing is useful in a lot of instances that even the Marauder isn't. Wonderful mech, wonderful design of it. I do have a unseen version of this, but I just don't have it here in this box. So eventually we'll look at the unseen version of it, but the new design, new scene, whatever you want to call them, they did a very good job on it. It is a very detailed and beautiful mini. Next up, I have 4 archers. 2 in plastic and 2 in metal. Now, these don't stand up very well, and the metal ones I'm pretty sure are knockoffs because the bottoms are pretty rough. They do not look good at all. And I mean, otherwise they're fine. I know I got these at that store that was in the flea market. These have been with me for quite some time. So even though they're probably not, official, I still like them. They just don't stay up very well, and I never had them on hex bases. So, but they are pretty much just copies of this archer, which is the archer that came in the 3rd edition box set. Pretty good detail on this thing. Like I said, you still kind of have to, it's got some imperfections on it, especially in the back. But you do have to give it kind of a little bit of leeway because it is an early FASA plastic. Still beautiful there. And I have one of the Catalyst redesigns. I think this is one that came in, the Wolf's Dragoon set, maybe? Don't remember right off the top of my head. But really kept the feel of the archer in there. That angular look. The opening missile bays on the redesign are just awesome. I do like the archer. I tend to either go with a catapult, or if I'm gonna go this heavy, just drop the extra weight and go for a longbow. But still, the archer, those 2 LRM-20s can be absolutely devastating, especially to lighter mechs, and it can really rain down the pain. And it does have the medium lasers, so it can defend itself, though I don't think it does quite as good a job at moving and defending itself as the catapult does. I think pound for pound, the catapult is a better design, but the archer is nothing to sneeze at. The issue that does kind of come up some for me is that they're now horribly out of scale again. This archer is much smaller than the new archer. Still, it's close enough that you can, like I said, kind of fudge it and say, this is the Star League archer that was more refined, and then now we have the big blocky Secession War archer that, is just bigger. So, always ways to come up with why they're different manufacturers and such. So, yeah, I do like putting this thing down. I do feel that I don't play it as much as I should. Good mech, though. And actually, I goofed. I have both versions of the new Archer from Catalyst. So, the one that came in, one of the Lance packs or something? I don't remember where the original came from. It was either one of the Lance packs or the box set, and then this is a new version of it that I'm pretty sure came in the Wolf's Dragoon set. So, just noticed I had this one in the same box. Well, guys, that's it for that box. The boxes are going to get a little thinner as the mechs get heavier, and I can't cram quite as much stuff into the same space, but we'll continue to look at these as time permits. Let me know what you think of the mechs below, if you have any cool stories on them, what you think of the minis. If there's anything you want to take a closer look at, thanks for giving me the chance to entertain you. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come. Thanks again, guys.
Hello, this is Adam with Dream Made Productions. Thank you for watching my content. It really means a lot that you have given me the chance to entertain you. If you would like to support the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Also below is a link for PayPal, or links if you would like to send crypto, if that's more your thing. Please know any amount that you give will be cherished and used to upgrade equipment and improve the channel. You can also help the channel by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, commenting, and sharing my channel with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.